Come on, I haven't blanked.
Oh, all in. A chunky old fish there. Right, first of all, going out. I'm literally going to flick it out in front of me into open water.
Welcome to a new video. We're back on the bank. Today you join me on a cool little English estate lake. I'm on a local estate. This is the Newton Park estate, and it's sort of over towards Bath. It's about 20 minutes or so away from my house, and it's owned, well, it's run by a local club ticket. It's actually owned or leased to the local uni, would you believe? But this is a lovely estate. On the way in, you come through these wicked fields with all these lovely big old trees in them. This actually was landscaped by Capability Brown, so it is quite an old estate. Really nice place, quite picturesque. Unfortunately, I can't really show it off today because the weather is pretty grim. It's really cold, really sort of foggy, misty, and it's not the best for capturing the landscape. But you might be able to get a bit of an idea by looking at those trees behind me. It's a lovely, mature bit of water, and yeah, it's a nice little place to be. So I've come up just for an afternoon. I'm doing about 4 hours. It does shut quite early. It shuts just before dark. You've got to be out of the complex, so, or off the estate. So yeah, it does shut quite early, but we've got about 4 hours just doing the afternoon, and there's a reasonable stock of fish in here. Now, they're probably not the best looking fish in the world, if I'm honest. There's a couple of nice ones in here. They go to just over £30. But unfortunately, because the water's got a little bit of a tinge to it, it's a little bit sort of murky. They are a little bit paler than you probably expect to see, but it's a lovely bit of water, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a chance of a fish today. So I'm going to stick the kettle on and have a nice coffee because it is bloody cold, and I'll catch up with you in a bit and tell you about what I'm doing. Right, so I've managed to make myself a coffee, and I've also put my other hoodie on to warm up a bit. After walking across from the car, I was nice and warm, but after getting the rods out and sitting there for a bit, I started to get a little bit chilly. So anyway, I've got the rods out. If I turn around, you might be able to see the seagulls I've just taken off because I've stood up. So my plan today was just to fish some little snowmen, or possibly some little pop-ups on Ronnie's or something. I've actually decided to go with some little snowmen on some D-rigs. And the plan was I was just going to trickle in some boilies, just fish boilie only, and just trickle in a little bit of boilie every now and then, and just sort of try and see if I can nick a bite doing it that way. So in the past, this has been pretty decent for boilie fishing. It's nice and simple, and I thought that might have been a good way to go. But unfortunately, the seagulls have absolutely destroyed me. So I've not really been able to get any bait in. I think I've maybe got 5 baits to possibly get down to the bottom. So I've been getting a load of liners, so there looks to be some fish about. So that's not too bad. So it might be that there's a few fish closer in, but I'm going to persist with it I'm going to recast the rods a little bit. I'm putting a little mesh bag of the DNA cray mix on every time, so that's going to get a little bit more traction out there. So I'll keep recasting them, keep putting a little bit of bait in like that, see if I can get a few boilies through the Seagulls, and hopefully when the rods are good, ratting off with a fish before we have to go home.
I'm going to bring in one of the rods a little bit closer. I seem to be getting a load of liners, so hopefully by bringing one in a bit closer I might land on a fish. I might be like there's fish a little bit closer to the bank. Oh, there you go, I'm getting a liner on that one.
Right, so this is the rig then. I've got a 15-pound main line, pretty standard. I've got a hybrid leg clip, quarter hybrid leg clip, 3.5 ounce lead, and then I've got about 7 or 8 inches of ESB tungsten loaded. The rig itself is a D rig. I've got quite a large D on the back of the hook there, and then on that I've got a double bait screw, which I'm mounting my little snowman on, and hopefully you can see that. But basically that sits on the bottom like that, just sort of raised up. So the bottom bait is a DNA bug bottom bait, and then I've got a PB pop-up on there which sort of balances that out. I've got a little, or sort of a medium sort of tungsten weight, but just short of halfway. I actually have it closer to the lead, and the reason for that is when the lead hits down, anti-tangle sieve pushes it out, and then that bead is the next thing that's in theory going to try and sink. So by having it slightly closer to the lead, it means that it sort of helps push it away when it goes down, and then the rig will sort of flutter down and sort of sit on the bottom. But anyway, hopefully that comes out all right. But that is the setup, and then what I'm doing in Blue Peter fashion, here's one I've got tied up already. I'm just nicking a little mesh bag of the DNA maxi cray mix on there, which absolutely stinks, and that's getting sent out into the pond. So let's get it out there. So I'm going to put this a little bit shorter because I've been getting loads of liners, so I'm literally going to just underarm it out in front of me. So it's actually really close in, really. It's about 3 rod lengths, whereas when I first did it I had it a lot further out than that. So we'll see if that makes any difference. Right, so in the rest it goes. Turn the alarm off, otherwise that'll get annoying. And goes the bobbin. Slacking it off. Only slacking it off. Job done.
Oh, we are in. Happy days. I thought there's some fish down here. Right, so the rod has gone off. I actually managed to get out a few boilies. I basically got about 30 boilies in my hand, and sort of, don't know, 5 or 6 at a time, just threw them out by hand, just one after the other, just so I could get them out there really quick. And I think a bit of bait managed to get down before the seagulls got on them. They definitely had a few of them, but they didn't have all of them. So I think that might have helped me get the bite, because I've been getting a few liners. There's definitely been fish in the zone, and possibly that little bit of bait has got them searching around for a bit more. But yeah, it's nice to get a bite. It's really cold today, really cold. I think it's about 2 or 3 degrees, and it is nice to have had a bite. So I'm sure if people have been following the channel, you will know that I've been struggling quite a lot this year, and it's nice to get a bite on such a miserable day in really pretty terrible conditions. So oh, it's quite a nice fish. I thought quite a good fish, that. Good double. Oh yeah, nice double, huh? That's probably a good mid-double, at least. That's quite thick. This is the rod that I moved closer in after getting a load of liners. I thought I was getting a lot of liners, so I moved it a bit closer. It's probably out there for about half an hour. And yeah, we've had this bite. So. Come on. It's a nice pattern fish, that. Absolutely nailed in the bottom lip. Oh, get in. Nice little result. I repositioned one of the rods after getting liners. It's gone off, and I've got a nice upper double. It's quite a nice fish. There we go. Not quite sure exactly how big it is. It's probably around the sort of 18-pound mark, I reckon. But happy days. Nice to get a bite on a really cold winter's morning. And yeah, it's been really misty, really miserable. Come out for a 4-hour little afternoon session, and yeah, we've had one on a little snowman. Maybe managed to get about 10 baits around it, I reckon. But it's been around. And there you go. There's the other side. Cracking up a double. Oh, let's get a roam. Come on, I haven't blanked. What a little result that was. Well happy with that. Nice to come out on a day with such terrible conditions, start of the winter, and actually get a bite. So yeah, really happy. Nice to get a fish, and it's nice to finally put a fish in a video for you guys. So the tactics have paid off. So I just thought I'd explain what had happened. So I was getting loads of liners, and obviously it meant the fish were, or not obvious, but to me it meant the fish were closer to the bank than what my rig was. So I reeled in the rod, left hand rod, reeled it in and repositioned it probably about half the distance that I'd put it out. And it was out there maybe half an hour, I reckon. And I just about managed to get a little bit of bait over the top of it. I basically put out, I reckon, 30 baits. I just threw them out across the area in front of me to try and see if I could get a few past the seagulls, and I definitely think a few got through. I reckon they probably only got about between 5 and 10 baits, so I reckon a few baits got down to the bottom, and yeah, obviously had that bite, and the fish on the mat was actually pooing out my bait. So I reckon that fish had probably ate a few baits. It obviously gone straight through it. That's the thing with that DNA bug, it's really digestible, and I think that's gone straight through that fish, and yeah, out on the mat. So
Anyway, nice little result, had a fish, absolutely buzzing. Let's see if we can get another one. Right, so we're coming up to the end of the session now. I've got about half an hour to go, I reckon, before I need to get on the move. So I'm going to start to sort of pack a bit of the stuff down now, pack away the brew kit, sort of roll up the unhooking mat and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to polish off this coffee before I do that though, and enjoy sort of chilling out for a bit, because it has been a little bit up and down. I've been up here, there and everywhere doing a bit of filming. I'm recasting the rods, trying to get some bait in on a short session. It is a bit of a rush, to be fair, so it's nice just to chill for 15 minutes before packing down. So hopefully I'll have a fish before I go, but if not, it's nice to have had that one earlier on, and it was a little bit of a result, to be fair, in such terrible conditions. But I can't knock it. Lovely little estate lake, lovely area. Only one other guy on here, and he's actually piking. I think I've already said that, and I've actually seen him had a fish as well, so that was cool. He had a little jack. Other than that, no one else around. Odd person sort of walking a dog, but other than that, yeah, it's been absolutely cracking. No one bothering me, and been a nice sort of relaxed sort of afternoon really. So we'll see if we get any more fish. I haven't had any liners since having that last one, so it might be that the show have moved on, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll update you before I get going anyway. So let's polish this off, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Right, and as you can see, I am back at the van now. All the kit is loaded up. I'm going to get on the road. Just doing this on GoPro to keep it nice and quick. But yeah, nice little end to the nice little session. Nice to have a fish. Well happy with that in a relatively short trip. So yeah, nice to get a pen and a rod for a change. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe. Also check out the social media shown at the bottom of the screen now. Until next time, get out there, be lucky, and I will see you in the next video.